You're listening to the Things Podcast, brought to you by the Things Industries.
Hi, I'm Alex Palt, and I'm here today at the Things Conference with Marcus Sofa. He's with Philancore, and I'm glad to have you here, Marcus. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, now, tell us a little bit about Philancore. What brings you to the Things Conference?
Yeah, as Philancore, we're an IoT security provider, basically, and the Things Conference is a great opportunity to make connections. You see the innovation. We also have, of course, innovation, but see what other companies are doing, and this is the hotspot, I would say, in Europe.
Very cool. Now, you say security. There are a lot of aspects to security. There's physical security, there's crypto security, there's password security, there's all kinds. So how do you, what aspect of security do you get involved in?
So if you are in this area of security, you would define it as identity-centric security. So that means, like, we know it all from the physical world. We have, when we go to a grocery store, for example, then the cashier asks me, I'm older or than 18, if I want to buy a bottle of whiskey, and I have to show them, hey, my ID card, so I am the person who say I am first, then the second of all, if I'm 18 and older. And the same principle is now becoming digital, and this is not happening before. So in digital identity, usually you are relying on centralized authorities, like on Google and Facebook. We all know, log in with Google, log in with Facebook, right? You have a profile there. This represents your identity, basically. But the thing is, in this old way, in the centralized identity world, we fully depend on these participants, on these providers, and the identity does not. It's not our identity, basically. And this is the problem we try to solve, basically giving the owner back the power. And this means also that we are providing identity to each device for the same principle. So this device can become verifiable around the world by others as well, without relying on centralized database or centralized systems. And this makes it very interesting also for you, for new business models. So vendors can seamlessly guarantee interoperability and can share data device to device. And this is the thing where we think this is the next step is an IoT security as well.
Well, because as you point out, then you're not dependent upon the central providers who are almost like the gatekeepers of your identity.
Exactly. So with our solution, with our platform, basically any customer, any provider becomes an identity provider itself. So this is the trust is happening bidirectional, right? So you can say who you want to trust and who not, basically, and you're not trusting any centralized authority who's defining the trust, basically. You as a company define, okay, I try this part, I trust this partner, XYZ, why I trust partner the other partners or the suppliers. And this is very interesting also for IoT ecosystems, like we call it, to make like devices hyper-connective and interoperable. And so we can gain as a customer or as a company new advantages. And this is where this type of security and this is now in place and then allows us also to interoperate very seamlessly.
Got it. But then recognizing that you want to get away from that centralized model, who becomes the key master then? Where do you get your chain of trust?
This is exactly the point. And in this concept, there is no key master. We are all working on the same level. Everyone generates this cryptographic, unique, global verified identity. And on top of that, we build trust by so-called verified credential, which are statements from an identity about an identity. So like I'm as a company producing a device, can send to this device a verified credential that says, hey, I'm a device produced by company XYZ. So I can do my organizational identity for this device identity, and everyone can then verify if they, for example, the buyer of the device, if I can verify, okay, this device is an original from this company. So if you make, based on this, you build the trust basically in a second step and a bidirectional, like a decentralized trust approach.
So now how do you keep out bad actors? Let's say someone decides to make a fake credential. How do you keep the bad actors
It's
out?
not possible because it's a cryptographic unique identity.
Okay.
So if I receive a credential, for example, I'm reading out of this device, is this really a device produced by XYZ? Then I can check if the issue of this credential is really the organizational identity this provides. So this is not going to happen anymore.
Got you. I got you. So, Marcus, was there anything that we didn't bring up that you want to leave with our audience before I let you go?
Yeah, what's also very interesting now in the European Union, we are facing the Cyber Resilience Act, and many, I would say, manufacturers are trying to fulfill that. And I can also recommend look in to this new approach of decentralized or self-sovereign identity, and look how this can be adaptable for your technical requirements there, because many of these requirements are covered by this technology, and you have then the innovation, the best innovation, high secure approach, which is also more cost effective, and and of course then you have a higher chance of compliance then.
Well, I really appreciate this, Marcus, because security, weirdly enough, has been lagging online. You think about it, security has always been a primary aspect for humanity. You want to lock your door, you want to chain your stuff down, you want to lock your car. Yeah. But, oh, my internet, hey, it's open.
Yeah, this is basically happened because we forgot in the early days of the internet, but also now in the newer days, to implement like a security or verification layer and with protocols. And this is the point where it makes it, where the difficulty comes from and the complexity, right? It's not easy to verify someone in the World Wide Web. So you have to find a trustworthy way to do that, to verify the other side, which you cannot see. And the same thing in the IoT world, right? So this is where we try to build the security layer, the verification layer, and make it easy to integrate. Yeah. So this is a historically grown problem, and now with the hyper connectivity we are facing, it's becoming worse and worse.
Well, I'm really glad, Marcus, that you and companies like Philancore are doing something to address it. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, and I appreciate you coming and taking the time to chat with us today.
Good, thanks.